Well, staying, of course, with Nvidia, the big story on the street today, as the stock's move post-earnings tend to have a huge impact on broader markets. So here to show us what that usually looks like is our very own Jared Blickery. Now, this isn't a usual time we're in at the moment, so I appreciate you breaking this down for us.
You bet, Rochelle. Nvidia, in no words, it's the dog that's wagging its own, or it's the tail that's wagging the entire market here. The S&P 500, the NASDAQ 100 just appear to be pyramided leverage bets on what Nvidia is about to do. And let me just give you a one-year chart so we can see the earnings reactions that we've had for the four prior reporting periods here. So this does go back 1 year. The last two times, that was actually a sell the news event, or at least don't expect the prices to go higher. In fact, 2 periods ago, we had a $499 high, and that was the high. That was the reaction day. That was the high for months. So not necessarily anything has to happen, but then when you take a look at what happened a few quarters before, you will see that in May we had a fourth largest reaction. That is a fourth biggest market cap gain ever, and before that it was kind of a non-event. So a mixed bag historically, but let me just show you some of the biggest market cap moves ever. And right there, number 4 is Nvidia, $184 billion on May 25th, 2023. But then number 1 only happened very recently. That was Groundhog's Day this year. Meta, $197 billion, almost $200 billion. So the moves are quite substantial here. And then Rochelle, you were talking about the price targets from analysts, the highest one, 1,200. Well, guess what? In the options market, we have the biggest number of options contracts. Biggest open interest is at 1,300, and that is the highest strike that is available for this issue. And it's kind of hard to see, but these blue lines here are calls, while the red one is put open interest. And you can see just how far this goes, how far the expectations are for Nvidia to potentially capitalize on this. Reason I'm making such a big deal is because with leverage, when things don't go the way people expect, these trades collapse very, very quickly. And I don't think it's a surprise that that's why we saw Nvidia having its worst day of the year yesterday and then kind of spilling over into the broader market.
Yeah, and broader concerns here, given just how crowded that tech trade has been. Jared, another big story in the markets today, the Dow replacing Walgreens with a little upstart known as Amazon. What can you tell us about what's going on there?
Well, let me take you back to August of 2020, and that was the last time the Dow had a major reshuffle, and some interesting things emerged from that. They kicked out ExxonMobil, and they added Salesforce. And what I've done here, I have shown the performance since then, since August 31st, 2020. Guess what? Exxon is up 164%, had an incredible couple of years. Meanwhile, Salesforce barely break even there, a little bit to the downside. One of the trades that kind of worked out was Pfizer, although it was looking like a bad idea in the beginning. Pfizer down 22%. They wanted biotech, so they put in Amgen. Amgen up 20%. And then Honeywell replaced RTX. But look, RTX up about 50%. In hindsight, that may not have been the best move. Now, what's interesting is what kicked all of this off in August of 2020 was a stock split for Apple. Apple was a huge point gainer there, and we know in the Dow that it is not market cap weighted, it is point weighted, so the higher your stock price is, the more influence you have. And then when Apple cut, they decided they wanted more exposure, so they got Salesforce to join the ranks. And in hindsight, you never know what's going to happen going forward, but I think we have seen enough examples historically where you have these additions to the Dow and they kind of got egg on their face sometimes. And will this be another example? I don't think so. I think Amazon, much stronger company than Walgreens, but you never know here.
Okay, we'll see where that trade goes. Jared, thanks so much for breaking that down for us.